stop in that moment and feel and sense and hear and taste and see and all that stuff. Hello, Transurfer, and welcome to TransurfingTV. I am Renee Garcia, and this is my video on completing the frame. This is not in the Tufti book, but it absolutely should be, because this is a vital part of you sort of completing the process of setting an intention or realizing a goal for yourself, and a powerful attribute in creating your own reality, because in my opinion, this sort of carves out your neural pathways, making it easier for you to feel confidence or really feel capable of creating your own reality by ultimately proving to yourself at the very end that you can in fact see a frame come into your current reality and realize that goal or intention. But first, before I get into it, I want to tell you of the genesis of how this concept kind of came to be, or how I encountered it. Last night, I was doing an interview with one of my most cherished TransurfingTV commenters, Xaviers, and he mentioned this, completing the frame, and he gave a little story which I am going to give to you shortly. But when he talked of this concept, I realized that this was in fact something that I was doing, and it was helping me to really connect with a meta power, if you will, that I am absolutely 100% capable of seeing something to the end. But I do have to acknowledge when I have ultimately reached my destination. So with that, I will tell the story, and then I will tell you what I do to actually make more money or have more adventure or realize bigger goals for myself with this specific tool of completing the frame. So Xavier and I were talking last night, and he told me a story of a time when he lost a backpack with his laptop in it on a bus. I hope I'm telling this story right, Xavier. I'm going to try to remember all the details. So Xavier lost a backpack, left it on a bus, got onto another bus, and then realized that he had left his backpack on the prior bus. And instead of panicking, what Xavier decided to do was play a slide or create a future frame of him, in fact, getting his laptop back, getting his backpack back. And he imagined, as we are supposed to do with playing that slide in our mind, right, embellishing it with detail, how it feels, what you see visually, the sounds you hear, whatever senses you can draw into that slide and embellish it more, the more powerful it is. So what Xavier did is he played a slide, he created a frame of him having his backpack back and having it strapped to the front of his body and holding it and actually feeling what having that backpack back felt like. So then after that, he, I believe, saw a bus randomly miles away from where he had transferred buses, saw a bus and decided to go up and look in the window, and sure enough, his backpack was on the seat. So he called the bus depot or somebody out to open the bus because there was nobody in it, and they came out and they reconnected him with his backpack. So when he got home, what he did was he put the backpack on his body like he had envisioned in his slide, in his frame that he created, and he did the exact thing that he did in the slide, which was hold onto the backpack and feel it and really embody that image that he created, which ultimately led him to his end goal, to his intention, to that frame. Okay, so when he told me this, something just went off, because this is what I have been doing for a long time, really, even before I knew transurfing, I did this. And my example that I gave is that before transurfing, when I was in a business where I worked for tips at night, I would imagine money being in my hand, right? So I would look at my hand and I would imagine money being in my hand. And at the end of the night, what I would do is, if I did encounter that money, which I often did, I would put the money physically in my hand and I would look at it. Okay, so what this is doing is this is carving pathways in my brain that help me to feel confidence that I can complete the circle of an intention, or I can complete that frame. And I do it even now. A few months ago, I wanted to buy something quite expensive and I didn't want to use any of my capital that I have in my bank. So I wanted to come across a pretty good chunk of money. And what I did was I envisioned my bank number being positive, that extra dollar amount, so I could buy the thing that I wanted to buy. So when the money came in, even though I knew the money was in my bank account, I went to my bank account to actually see that number physically with my own eyes and bring that frame that I created in my future into that present moment. So again, this helps me to feel like I can complete the circle of intent. I can complete that frame, and it really puts me in touch with a meta power that I possess, but I need confirmation of in my reality. Physically, I need to see it, hear it, feel it, whatever it is, just like what Xavier did in the example with his backpack. So to draw a quick little diagram that will demonstrate this, and I know this is super easy and all the advanced transurfers are going to totally get this, okay? But just for the sake of anyone new. So you have your film reel. Okay, you have the current frame you're on, and the distant frame, the future frame, is your desired intention, okay? So you're going to load that frame up with as much embellishment or detail of whatever it is that you want, okay? So let's say you want to become something. Let's say you want to open your own business, whatever it is. Let's say you want to open a bakery, okay? So you embellish that future frame with all the details that you can possibly imagine. Now remember, you don't have to embellish it with every detail, just the ones you can imagine now, because as you move this film reel closer, as you go through these different frames, bringing this end frame closer to you, lining up in your present reality, more details will be presented to you. You don't have to do it all up front. So, but as much as you can do now, right? As much as you can do now, imagine how it sounds, how it feels, how it tastes, how it looks, all the different components of that slide. Now, as you move this film reel and this ultimate frame begins to come closer and closer and closer to you, when you do ultimately reach your goal or your intention, stop in that moment and feel and sense and hear and taste and see and all that stuff that made up that frame. Make sure you really embrace it in that moment. feel that sense of accomplishment. This is one of the most deeply satisfying feelings I've ever felt as a human being in regards to reality creation or attaining a goal. So as soon as you get this frame, and remember, the mirror doesn't respond on our time frame, right? You've got to keep going, because ultimately if you continue down the path, you ultimately will achieve the goal. But when you do, embody all of those things that you sensed in your future frame, in your present moment, really carving out those neural pathways, acknowledging your power as a person that can create your own reality. So this is my video completing the frame. Let me know, do you do this? Is this something that you've done? How does it work for you? Do you have any stories of completing the frame? And does it help you, in fact, feel more confident in your abilities to create your own reality? So remember to like this video and comment in the comment section below. I love Reality Transurfing, to join my giveaway for my reprogramming stickers. And thank you so much for watching my video, everyone. Bye.